Okay, welcome everybody to Unclean Hands Explained. This is our Patreon channel that eventually will go on YouTube. And we're just going to explain, each episode to you and have fun doing it. I hope you like it.
So we're talking about Chapter 3 now, Digging Deeper. So this is where we're still starting to kind of flesh out some of the plot and starting to understand who some of these people are connected to. But I wanted to ask, before we get too far, you've talked a little bit about it, but can you tell us more about your inspirations for this story? Like, what really got this story in your head, and what are some of the experiences that you pulled from here?
Well, first of all, I wanted this to be like I said, a southern version of Snowfall or Power.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was a niche there, there's a market there. And then from there, I just used on experiences, like on Chapter 3, Digging Deeper. Of course, the reporter's going to have an informant.
Yeah.
So I made Ricky the informant. And everybody know a guy like Ricky, small-time drug dealer. But, think he bigger than what he is.
Yeah.
Didn't quite make it right. And, he's a fuck-up.
Right.
His choices didn't work out. But, that's why Ricky was involved in this one. I put him in there. And OG Mims, I put him in there because, again, it's got to be two sides to every story.
Right.
You see Jamal Blue and Didi and what happened to their son. Now you got OG Mims, and you know why he the way he is.
Yeah.
It's a blood. It's a Crip,
yeah.
Red and blue. You need to see both sides of the story, and that's what I did here. So by introducing OG Mims, now you get to know his background and why he's so freaking angry.
Right.
He feel he was wrong too.
Yeah. Well, Ricky, he seems like one of those people that, like you said, we all know one, but the bad luck just seems to follow him. The fact that he's talking to the reporter and OG Mims sees him down the street talking and recognizes him, he knows what's going on, and it's just like, man, that shit sounds like just Ricky's luck.
Well, you see, like this, Ricky is. I couldn't have it all drama, killing, and all that. It's got to be a comic relief.
Yeah.
Ricky and his baby mother Lisa Chan is the comic relief for this. And also, just to let you know, someone's always watching.
Yes.
The reporter came there at 3 o'clock in the morning, figuring nobody's really there at 3 or 4 o'clock. But it's somebody's out there.
Right.
Especially in the project, somebody's always watching.
Yeah.
This is for cameras, but somebody's out there. So, Ricky thought he was doing something, come over here, because he knew people were out there.
Yeah.
So he told him, come on this other corner, but too late. You already been spotted. So all you can do is make the best of it.
Yeah.
But Ricky is basically, he's my comic relief.
Yes.
For this.
Now, at that same time, OG Mims is meeting with some crooked cops. And what is the relationship there? What's that history?
Well, it's basically with anything. Cops are involved. Mm-hmm. If you think you live in a town or a city and you sell drugs, don't think the cops know you are, you're a fool.
Right.
As long as you don't make a lot of noise or a lot of murders, and you pay them, they'll let business go as usual. And that's what I'm showing here.
Yeah.
That's always been like that. And again, it's another thing with Unclean Hands. It's always going to be, if it's demand, somebody's going to meet that demand. Mm-hmm. So here, the cops are basically controlling it. And it's always like that. I don't care what city you are. If you think you're selling drugs, you think the cops don't know about you, you're a fool. They're either waiting on you to get big enough or they can extort you.
Yeah.
Or if you make too much of a problem, they're going to get rid of you.
Right.
That's just the game. They can stop it anytime they want to.
Right. When I think, like you said, this is setting up that everybody is connected, and all these characters we've been introduced to, they all have secrets. They're all connected to each other in some way or another, and they're all connected to this larger system. And so, you'll find out that when one person is doing something, someone else knows what they're doing, and they're going to have to stop them from doing it. So there's this whole big spider web that's sort of starting to form here.
Everybody has a boss.
Yeah.
You don't think you in control of everything. Somebody's always over you.
Right.
Unless you're going to do it everything yourself, do it the right way. If you're doing it illegal, you have a boss.
Yeah.
And somebody knows what you're doing. You're not doing it on the radar. And that's, again, it goes back to the title. No one had clean hands. Nobody.
Well, and someone else who doesn't have a clean history, hands and otherwise, sounds like Didi. There was a twist here. We found out some information about her and about her history. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, like I said, it's two sides to every story. So with Dee Dee, I want you to know that, hey, she's not as innocent as you think. You felt sympathy for her because her child died.
Right.
But she's probably the reason why all this shit happened. You know, because you see, when Ricky tells the story about how OG Mims went to jail, that was his girl.
Yeah.
And when he went there, Jamal was his friend.
Right.
Supposed to be, just looking out for her. But inevitably, you be around somebody long enough, sex gonna come in.
Yeah.
And then he ended up falling in love. His best friend Jamal fall in love with his wife.
Yeah.
How you think OG Mims is gonna feel about that in jail? He can't do anything, but he's gonna get him.
Yeah.
So I'm quite sure Jamal heard through the grapevine from people in jail that, hey, these guys coming for you. So to protect himself, he had to join the Crips to protect himself because the other guys are blood. So you gotta go to the opposition to protect yourself. When it all comes, Dee Dee.
Right.
So Dee Dee don't get mad if it works out like that. There's something collateral damage. But we'll see what happens.
And speaking of OJ Mims, someone takes some shots at him here at the end of this episode.
Of course, if you need a chapter before that, when he told Dee Dee, stop talking so much, they'll take care of it. This is their way of taking care of it.
Yeah.
Remember, he said he pretty much figured out who it was by the red car and all that.
Right.
So he assumes it's him.
Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to take care of it. They tried their best.
So at this point, we've met a lot of characters, like I said before. Do you have any particular favorite characters, like ones you just really enjoy writing because the words they just come to you because this character is just so much fun?
Well, so Ricky was definitely fun for me because I had to have a comic relief.
Yeah.
I couldn't just have you so serious and so, depressed that the kid died or just action, the senseless murder.
Right.
It has to be some kind of compassion to it. It has to be some kind of comedy to it. And that's why I made the character Ricky.
Yeah.
Because him and his baby mother, the UCLA, Lisa Chen, is hilarious, yet everybody know a couple like that.
Right.
Hell, I've been there before. You know what I mean? It happens.
Well, and I want to mention a piece of the artwork in here as well. There's a scene of Ricky standing in the rain and talking to Thomas, who has a face mask on in this picture. I don't know, there's just something really dramatic about this shot with, especially, like I said, this rain coming down on him.
Well, I set the scene up so it's late at night and it's raining at the beginning of the chapter. So I wanted Thomas, he just can't go in there with a suit and tie,
right?
Regular white guy in the project. So you have to try to blend in.
Yeah.
So knowing that it was a blood neighborhood, he definitely put some red around.
I see.
But
okay.
To unseen, the people that actually live there, they know this guy ain't from there. And that's how the cops and OG Mims like, yo, who is that?
Right.
And OG Mims thinking, Rick owed me money, so, he's just making a sell.
Yeah.
But the cop still had questions, which he should.
Right.
If something is out of order and doesn't fit, you must investigate. Don't take it as, oh, well, no, that's stuff you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, and that's something I've noticed too so far is that it's something you see in poor writing is people will just shrug their shoulders and ignore things. But in this, everyone, they see something and they investigate it or they ask questions. And so the characters feel very real that way in that they actually are curious about the world around them, the things that are happening, and they've only lived this long because they pay attention. And so I like that no one just kind of goes, it's nothing. Yeah,
in those situations, you got to have your head on swivel.
Yeah.
Always. This is how it is, especially in the area they in. And, most places you grew up in, especially me, you got to have your head on swivel. You weren't going to make it.
Right.
And then thinking, this is 95, so it's a different time period. Even though I was a grown man then, I can relate to it because in the 70s and especially the 80s when I grew up, you better have your head on a swivel. You weren't going to make it.
Right. Well, and as we're going to get to, not everyone makes it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And, hey, we'll see everyone next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks again to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this content wouldn't be possible. So we're going to make sure you guys get everything first. Hopefully you like it. And just stay tuned for more chapters. We got more explained later. Thank you, guys.